interactions are classified, right? So it includes neutralism, negative interactions, positive interactions, and both positive and negative interactions, right? So after that, now we will be beginning the next part, जहाँ पे हम लोग each like हम लोग हर एक का example लेंगे. हम लोग neutralism क्या होता है वो देखेंगे in detail. We will see what is competition, what is mutualism, and then what is at last as a parasitism. Okay. So basically हम लोग सब कुछ नहीं पढ़ेंगे in detail. Like we will not see amensalism and all, but we will try to cover up the things कि हर एक interaction का at least एक type तो होगा. Okay. So that's how it is given in your book also. So apart from that, अगर किसी को और कुछ डिटेल में जानना है, you are always welcome to ask the questions. Okay. So इससे पहले हमने जो किया था about the population studies and the growth models, the logistic model or the exponential growth model, in that particular way, like particular part basically, अगर कुछ भी doubts होगा, so you can ask me now, or else we can begin. Okay. So if you are having any doubts, we can discuss, or else we will start the next part. Okay. Any doubt? At least revert back. So मुझे समझा कि कुछ को कुछ doubt है भी या नहीं है. If yes, then yes. If no, then no. It's as simple as that. So considering that no one is asking any doubt, I will continue with the lecture now. Okay. So there are multiple different types of interactions. So अभी हमने उसको 4 parts में divide किया था, फिर categorize किया था. So we will just have a brief about the definitions again, जो हमने last lecture में already discuss कर लिया था. Okay. So there is something called as mutualism, जहाँ पे दोनों भी species एक दूसरे से benefits लेते हैं. Okay. So that is mutualism, जहाँ पे दोनों को भी benefits होता है. Or else there is another case जहाँ पे दोनों को भी harm होता है. That is called as competition. There is something called as parasitism or predation, जहाँ पे एक को फायदा एक को लॉस, ऐसा कुछ तो काइंड ऑफ इंटरेक्शन होता है. ओके. एंड देन देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज कमेंसलिज्म एंड अमेंसलिज्म. सो इफ यू रिमेंबर, मैंने बोला था इन केस ऑफ कमेंसलिज्म, इफ देयर आर टू स्पीसीज, एक को फायदा होगा बट दूसरे का ना तो फायदा होगा ना तो नुकसान होगा. सो देयर विल बी नो बेनिफिट, नो लॉस एज सच फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर स्पीसीज, बट उसके वजह से किसी और को फायदा हो सकता है. ओके. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज कमेंसलिज्म. एंड द लास्ट वन इज अमेंसलिज्म. दिस इज समथिंग ऑपोजिट टू द कमेंसलिज्म. सो इन केस ऑफ अमेंसलिज्म, अगर मेरे पास दो डिफरेंट स्पीसीज है तो एक को नुकसान होगा बिकॉज ऑफ द अदर स्पीसीज, वेयर जो दूसरा स्पीसीज रहेगा उसका ना तो फायदा होगा और ना तो नुकसान होगा. ओके. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अमेंसलिज्म. सो आई होप यू आर एबल टू ग्रास्प दिस टर्म्स कि वो क्या है, उसका मतलब समझ पा रहे हो. अगर यू फील दैट इट्स नॉट इजी टू टेक अप, लाइक नहीं समझ रहा है, बाउंस आउट जा रहा है, लेट मी नो. ओके. इन एनी वे हम लोग अभी इसको डिस्कस करेंगे इन मोर डिटेल्स बेसिकली, तो हम लोग को और अच्छे से आइडिया आ जाएगा. बट स्टिल ओके. So the very first interaction here is mutualism. क्या है वो mutualism? What is mutualism? If you remember, मैंने just अभी बोला कि जहाँ पे दोनों को भी फायदा होता है, right? So in this particular type of interaction, both the species actually gets the benefits. Okay. And this kind of interaction is actually obligatory and interdependent. तो सबसे पहले समझते हैं व्हाट इज इंटरडिपेंडेंस. ओके. इट मींस दोनों स्पीसीज एक दूसरे पे फॉर सम और अदर रीजन, इट कैन बी फूड और इट कैन बी शेल्टर और इट कैन बी एनी अदर लाइक बेसिक नीड फॉर द ऑर्गेनिज्म टू सर्वाइव, तो वो एक दूसरे पे डिपेंडेंट होंगे. एंड दिस इज अ काइंड ऑफ ऑब्लिगेटरी. ऑब्लिगेटरी मतलब काइंड ऑफ कंपल्सरी इंटरेक्शन, मतलब वो होना ही होना है, अगर वो नहीं हुआ then it will be quite difficult for that particular organism to survive as a in a ecosystem. Okay, so that's why mutualism is a kind of obligatory and interdependent type of interaction. Okay, यहाँ पे दोनों भी स्पीसीज को या फिर दोनों ही पॉपुलेशंस को क्या होता है, फायदा होता है, तो बोथ आर गेटिंग बेनिफिटेड. द बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं देना चाहूँ अबाउट द म्यूचुअलिज्म, सो इट इज लाइकेंस. आई थिंक तुम लोगों ने लाइकेंस का थोड़ा बहुत पार्ट तो पढ़ा रहेगा इन योर चैप्टर किंगडम प्लांटे. सो व्हाट इज लाइकेंस, एनीवन? No one knows what is lichen. Interesting. So yeah, so what is lichen basically? Lichen is the interaction between the fungus and the algae. Yeah, so Anaga is saying it's a pollution indicator. Yeah, that is absolutely right. To be more precise, it is a air pollution indicator. Not all the pollutions can be indicated by the lichens, but lichens can indicate the air pollution. Okay, so that is very correct point. So this lichens are actually, it is a kind of symbiotic interaction. यहाँ पे दोनों को भी फायदा होता है, ऐसा kind of reaction between the fungus and the algae. Okay, तो I think हम सबको पता है that fungus is a different group of the organism and algae or the cyanobacteria are a different group of organisms. Okay, so fungus are the unicellular or multicellular eukaryotic cells. Algae are also unicellular or multicellular eukaryotic cells, but the cyanobacteria are prokaryotic cells. Okay, so these two types of organisms actually, either like fungus and algae, they actually interact with each other in a such a way that the fungus will take up, let's say, food from the algae, and the algae will take up something from the fungus. In this particular way, the algae and the fungus are actually interdependent on each other. And if you see, like if you just could go back to your 11th standard book after the lecture and check out, तो तुम लोग देखोगे there are multiple applications of the lichens. जैसे कि अभी एक जैसे अनघा ने बोला, it is a air pollution indicator. Yeah, that is one thing. But in case of cosmetics, in case of food industry, in case of different drugs and pharma companies, the lichens have taken a lot of attention nowadays because they have a very good properties which are very difficult to find other ways. Okay, now why these properties are unique? Because this is not the individual properties of the fungus. हमारे पास there are lakhs of species of fungus available, there are lakhs of species of algae are available, but जो properties हमारे lichens में है, those are not actually available in an individual fungus or an individual algae. वो सिर्फ तभी प्रेजेंट होते हैं जब ये लोग सिम्बायोटिकली कुछ इंटरेक्शन दिखाते हैं in a form of lichens. Okay, so it is a best example of the mutualism or a symbiotic relationship. Okay, the next example अगर देना चाहूँ, so all the plants and animals are actually in a mutualism, or actually showing the mutualism, or we can say mutualistic relationship, like literally all. अभी तुम लोग बोलोगे how this possible, like plants उनको तो किसी की तरह जरूरत पड़ती नहीं है. Why? Because they are themselves are photosynthetic and they take up sunlight and they use the chlorophyll and they make their own food. Okay, और जो minerals and all भी लगते हैं उन लोग को जो soil से उनको मिल जाते हैं via microorganisms. Then animals का role कहाँ पे आता है? Right, this should be the question striking your head right now. So how animals are actually helping the plants to grow, or the why it is a mutualism we can say, because basically plants जो भी है it actually provides food to the animals. So it can be either in a form of the fruits, or it can be in kind of some flowers, or it can be even some nectars for the insects, or it can be anything. pollen grains and all, on which different organisms are actually feeding in the nature. Okay, so basically animals are getting these all things from the plants, so they are getting benefited out of it, right? So animals का फायदा ही फायदा है. But then how plants are getting benefited? So जब ये animals जाते हैं plants को खाने के लिए या फिर for getting their food from this particular plants, क्या होता है, ये plants के जो pollen grains रहते हैं वो animals के stuck up हो जाते हैं या फिर चिपक जाते हैं basically. So whenever the animals are going, they actually spread the pollen. Okay. So these spores or these pollen grains are actually helping for the spreading the plant. तो तुम लोगों ने शायद पढ़ा होगा about pollination, जहाँ पे so if you remember there are few flowers or few plants which are unisexual and few are bisexual. So when the plant is unisexual, it is essential that अगर वो plant let's say unisexual मेरे पास female plant, okay, so that plant need to have the male gamete from the other component which will help them to grow further, like उनको reproduction के लिए help करेगा, right? So in this case, the pollination is an important process, and these animals actually act as a pollinating agent. Okay, so I hope you are getting the point how the plant is getting benefited. At the same time, many animals like let's say birds are eating up the fruits, right? तो जब वो फ्रूट्स खाते हैं तो नॉट लाइक अस, इट्स नॉट लाइक कि वो लोग सब सीड्स बाजू में निकालते हैं एंड ओनली द मेजर पार्ट दे विल टेक अप. नो, राइट, दे ईट द फ्रूट लाइक एंटायरली. Obviously they can digest the food and all, but most of the seeds of the fruits are kind of resistant to digestion by the enzymes present in a body. Okay, so these seeds will not get affected as such. Or jab the like whenever the animal is like passing the fecal matter, these seeds will be present in the fecal matter and it will actually help in the again dispersion. So again your seeds जहाँ पे भी गिरेंगे वहाँ पे plants grow हो सकते हैं. So this is one of the another benefit that the plants get from the animals. Okay, so now I hope you understood how the plants and animals are actually in a mutualistic relationship. So in this diagram, you will see it is a typical algae and the fungus relationship. In this plant, in this second figure, you can see bird is taking up the nectar from the flower. So now, if you just carefully see, actually the bird का pick is not visible here, but this is a hummingbird जिसका जो pick रहता है basically, जो उसका और beak रहता है basically, वो that is quite big, okay, मतलब pointed रहता है. And if you see the flower, it is taking up like the nectar. It is also tube-like structure, okay. So it was observed that many plants and animals have shown some kind of co-evolution. Now, what do I mean by co-evolution? That is, so why do you need to do co-evolution? So as we are saying, okay, कुछ plants है, कुछ animals है, they are saying some kind of interaction, दोनों को भी फायदा हो रहा है. But कुछ ऐसे भी animals है जो plant को तो फायदा, plant से तो फायदा ले लेते हैं, they are taking up the fruits, they are taking up the nectar, but they are not actually helping the plant in any way. So they are not really helping the plant for the pollination or for the dispersion of the seeds. So these animals are actually called as cheaters. Okay, so in this case, the plant is not getting any kind of benefits. So to overcome this particular problem, the plants and even the animals which are dependent on the plant and which are actually in a mutualistic relationship are showing some kind of adaptation, or we can say modification. And this was seen, ऐसा नहीं है कि sorry, yeah, ऐसा नहीं है कि it was seen ऐसे एक साल में, 2 साल में. This was observed from a long period of time. जैसे जैसे time जा रहा है, evolution हो रहा है, there is a kind of changes in the plants and these particular animals. So this is a one example जहाँ पे you can see, since the flower is a basically tube-like structure, the bird need to go to the base of the flower to get the nectar, right? तो उसको अंदर तक पहुंचना पड़ेगा, and that's why these birds actually have a pointed structure. Okay, so that they can reach the base of the flower जहाँ से वो लोग nectar ले सकते हैं. I hope I'm able to make you understand exactly क्या हो रहा है. Okay, so this is kind of evolution जो देखा like observe किया गया है in a nature. This is just one example about the flower and the birds, but there are multiple other examples जहाँ पे some kind of modifications were observed, or you can say some kind of co-evolution was observed, which was actually helping the or supporting the mutualism. Okay, so I hope you understood what is mutualism. It is basically the interaction between the two species जहाँ पे दोनों भी एक दूसरे से benefits ले रहे हैं. So they are getting benefited from each other. It is a kind of obligatory and a interdependent reaction or interaction. Okay, an example हम देखे थे lichen का देखा था, and this particular plants and animals. Okay, so if you are having any doubt, you can ask questions. You can type it in the chat box. Anything, whatever is like preferable for you. Okay, so moving to the next part now. तो अभी हमने क्या देखा, दोनों को फायदा हो रहा था, and that's why it was mutualism, mutually benefits. Okay, now something opposite to mutualism. So mutualism में it was mutual kind of reaction or interaction जहाँ पे दोनों को भी फायदा हो रहा था. In case of competition, both are at loss. तो दोनों का अभी क्या हो रहा है, नुकसान हो रहा है. They are not actually able to get any kind of benefits from each other, whereas they are actually at loss because they are in an interaction with such kind of species जो उनके कुछ फायदे का भी नहीं है, ऊपर से उनको नुकसान करवा रहा है. Okay, and this kind of interaction is called as competition. So the competition can be for anything, right? The very common kind of competition is like for resources. When I say resources, I mainly talk in terms of the food, because food is the basic need for I think all of us. So these different species जो रहते हैं in a particular population or particular habitat, they interact with each other and then they tend to compete with each other for their food. Okay, so one example if I want to give you for such a competition is like in a shallow creeks on the west coast of Mumbai basically. So this is basically some small stream like such a पानी बहता रहता है वैसे, जहाँ पे this visiting flamingos and the resident fish. Okay, so flamingos, which are the birds, and the fishes, basically the class Pisces, they actually compete for the food. Why? Because both of these particular species are dependent on the same kind of food, which are the zooplankton. So zooplankton are basically very small macroscopic organisms on which these fishes and these flamingos actually are dependent for their food. So these two species, the flamingos and the fish, actually compete for this particular zooplankton, and that's why there is some kind of interaction. So कभी-कभी अगर let's say flamingos की वजह से fishes को खाना नहीं मिल रहा है, तो obviously the fishes will get lost, उनका number reduce हो जाएगा, and then vice versa. Okay, so this kind of balance sometimes needs to be maintained, which is generally maintained by the nature, ideal conditions में. But if there is some kind of interference from, let's say, some environmental factors are there or something like some human interference is there, definitely it will affect the natural process. Okay. But then, as अभी देखा क्योंकि खाना is can be one problem or we can say one limitation, but then it cannot be always the reason for the competition. Okay. It can be possible that even if the food is in abundance, the species are still showing the competition. Why? Because if there are two species which are showing me or which are dependent on the same kind of food, even though the food is abundant, what happens sometimes किसी एक का खाने की जो कैपेसिटी है या फिर खाना ऑब्टेन करने की जो कैपेसिटी है वो कम हो जाती है. So the feeding efficiency of one species actually reduce. Why? Because there can be the interference or the inhibitory effect by the other species. Okay, so the दूसरा species रहेगा that will show some kind of interaction because of which second species will not be able to take up the food even though it is present in a large amount. Okay, so this is kind of also possible competition which is not really dependent on a food. So ये कहाँ पे देखा जाता है ऐसा kind of interaction? So we all know there are these carnivores जो secondary consumers में आते हैं mainly, which are basically lions, tigers and leopards and all. Okay, so it was observed that अगर कोई भी एरिया में बहुत सारे लायंस है then the leopards will not generally prefer to go in the close proximity. मतलब वो एरिया में जाने से वो reluctant रहते हैं because lion is more dominating species basically. So they will affect the feeding efficiency of these leopards. और अगर उन्होंने देखा, so what will happen? Why lion is dominating here? Because अगर lions और leopards साथ में रहेंगे एक ही एरिया में, दोनों का भी फूड क्या होता है? They eat the herbivores. Basically वो कोई rabbit खा सकते हैं, deer खा सकते हैं, कुछ भी जहाँ पे रहेगा वो. But then अगर दोनों एक साथ रहेंगे, दोनों का जबकि दोनों का खाना एक ही टाइप का होता है, तो लेट्स से अगर लेपर्ड ने बहुत ज़्यादा खाना ले लिया तो there will be shortage for lions, which is not a good thing. So that's why to reduce the competition, lions generally don't allow leopards to enter, and even the leopards are reluctant. They will not generally enter because उनको पता है कि उनकी जान को खतरा हो सकता है अगर दो लोग यहाँ पे गए थे. So this is also one kind of competition. Okay. So basically, then how can you define the competition? Then it is basically a process जहाँ पे fitness of one species is significantly lower in the presence of another species because one species is kind of superior to the another, or second one is a kind of inferior. Okay, so that's one example. Okay, so based on this, तो बहुत लोगों ने कुछ studies किए थे to explain what is competition and how it happens. So one such principle is Gauss's competition exclusive principle. Gauss is the name of scientist जिसने propose किया था जिसका नाम था competition exclusive principle. Okay, तो इसने क्या state किया था कि when there are two closely related species competing for the same resources. Okay, so let's say leopard and tiger or leopard and lions, both are quite closely related species, so जिनका food same है. So this, if they are present in a same locality or they are present in the same or they are competing for the same resource, then they cannot coexist indefinitely. मतलब वो ज़्यादा टाइम तक साथ में नहीं रह पाएंगे. And the competitively inferior one will be eliminated eventually. मतलब दो species जो ऐसे जिनका food or let's say resources are same cannot stay together for a longer period because there will be very strong competition. और जो inferior होगा या फिर जो weak रहेगा comparatively, that will be actually eliminated eventually. Okay, I hope you understood what is the competitive exclusive principle of Gauss. So this is one of the important statements to try to understand. Okay, but then yeah, this is something the Gauss ने propose किया and which is true to a larger extent. Yeah, it is not completely wrong, but this may be not the always true. Okay, मतलब there are some exceptions. So this is possible. Obviously, one species can get eliminated, but कब जब खाना or any other resources are very limited or very limited amount में present है. But अगर खाना बहुत ज़्यादा है and it is good and sufficient for both the species to survive on, then this kind of relationship will not be observed. However, there will some kind of modifications will be seen in the behavior of this particular animals. So they will do some kind of modification or in their pattern or their behavior so that both of them can coexist at the same time and there will be no need of any elimination. So let's say tiger and leopard ऐसी जगह पे प्रेजेंट है जहाँ पे बहुत सारा खाना है, इट इज abundance में, so there will be no problem for leopard to stay in that area. However, leopard will prefer to not go for the hunting or for the feeding or for eating the food at the same time जब लायन जाते हैं, so they need to change. तो अगर लायन सुबह जा रहे हैं तो लेपर्ड शुड गो इन इवनिंग, दैट काइंड ऑफ बिहेवियर दे जनरली अडॉप्ट. तो अगर वो इवनिंग में जाएंगे तो ऑब्वियसली लायंस विल बी नॉट प्रेजेंट एट दैट टाइम और लेपर्ड्स के जान को खतरा नहीं होगा. सो दैट्स सम काइंड ऑफ बोलते ना मैकेनिज्म और इवोल्यूशन दे आर शोइंग सो दैट दे कैन स्टे टुगेदर इन अ सेम हैबिटेट. ओके, सो जो अभी मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया उसको बोलते हैं रिसोर्स पार्टीशनिंग, जहाँ पे if the two species compete for the same resource, they could avoid competition by choosing the different times for their feeding. Okay, so that's what I just explained you by the example of lion and the leopard. So you can see this picture, right? You can see a big male lion, one female lion, and then you can see a leopard. So this is that the lions actually have killed the leopard so that there will be less competition for food. Okay, so this is actually happens in a different forest and that's again, if for some extent I think this is also important. So because of which they actually keep in control the number of the lions and like the leopards and all. Okay, so this is one kind of evolution they can take up. Now ऐसा ही पाया गया है, like it was also observed that the two species who are actually existing together, so let's say एक बहुत superior है, powerful like a lion, and another one is not that superior but comparatively weak in compared to the another species. So in this case they actually restrict themselves to the particular small geographical area. वो ज़्यादा कुछ actually नहीं दिखाते, even their reproduction is limited and all, so they will not prefer to expand at a large number because बहुत ज़्यादा competition हो जाता है. However, अगर जो उनका superior species वहाँ पे present होगा उसको निकाल दिया, it means I am actually removing the competition from the particular habitat. Then जो inferior वाला species था that can actually flourish and survive for a longer period, and उनका number भी बढ़ जाएगा because now there is no competition, there are no superior species which will limit their food or which will affect their survival in any way, right? So this is another kind of relationship which was observed in a competition. So now I hope you are able to understand the differences between the competition and mutualism. So anyone, please tell me what is the difference between the competition and mutualism? A basic difference. Yes?
म्यूचुअलिज्म में दोनों को फायदा होता है
Yeah.
और कंपटीशन में किसी एक को फायदा और किसी एक को नुकसान होगा.
नहीं, हाँ मतलब ठीक है, yeah, yes, 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 correct, correct, correct. So but हाँ, yeah, correct. So that's how the competition is like one is as a like basically okay, so like if you take the example of the let's say leopard and lion, both are actually in a we can say loss, we can say for a moment, because अगर lion का number बढ़ गया तो leopard will get affected, leopard का number बढ़ गया तो lion will affected. So that's how the competition plays a role. Okay, so that's why competition will get affected in both the species.
सर ज्यादा लॉस में तो लेपर्ड है ना.
एक मिनट, just a minute, just a minute. Yeah, sorry for that. So yeah, so your point is right. Sorry, तो एक बार तुम वापस बोल सकते हो. कि एक को फायदा हो रहा है, एक लायन को फायदा हो रहा है, लेपर्ड को नुकसान हो रहा है. योर पॉइंट इज राइट. बट इफ यू सी, so it is not a reaction like कि जहाँ पे it's not like something prey and predator type, जहाँ पे दोनों भी let's say दोनों like tiger and lion even though both are carnivores, तो ये उन दोनों के बीच का कंपटीशन है. तो किसी एक का भी अगर नंबर बढ़ गया तो someone is getting affected. तो यहाँ पे मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया या तो lions are killing the leopard so that their competition will be less, so that's why lion is getting benefited. But at the same thing can happen with the lion also. अगर leopard का नंबर बढ़ गया, obviously leopard cannot kill the lion, but what will happen, leopard will eat up the maximum food or resource, and because of that the lion will get affected. So basically in a competition both the species will be at a loss. Okay, they are not living the life in a harmony. जो तुम बोल रहे हो कि एक को फायदा एक को नुकसान होगा, yes that is possible, but कहाँ पे होगा वो, in a kind of prey predation kind of relationship में. Let's say tiger and a deer or a lion and a deer, जहाँ पे deer तो मर ही रहा है plus tiger को फायदा देके मर रहा है. So I hope now it is clear. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So now the next kind of interaction is parasitism. Now this is again something negative, we can say negative kind of reaction. So if you can see the table again, जो हमने सबसे पहले सीखा था. So neutralism, then अभी तक हमने न्यूट्रलिज्म का एक भी एग्जांपल नहीं देखा है, राइट. Then there is a negative interaction में देखा competition, and we saw the positive interaction, that is a mutualism. Okay, so now we will go for the next one, which is a both positive and negative interaction, जहाँ पे एक स्पीशीज को फायदा और एक स्पीशीज को नुकसान हो रहा है. Okay, so one of such reaction is a parasitism. Okay, so I think everyone knows basically what is parasite. Anyone?
खुद का फायदा लेके दूसरों को नुकसान पहुंचा.
So yeah, just a minute. So that is correct. खुद का फायदा दूसरे को नुकसान. Yeah, that is correct. So now someone give me one example of a parasite. Not Saurabh, कोई और. One very common example of parasite.
Mosquito.
Okay. Okay. और कुछ? और कोई example? So there are many such examples. Even the small leech. So अभी बारिश हो रहा है बहुत जगह, फ्लडिंग एंड ऑल हो रहा है. तो लीच इज वेरी कॉमन थिंग जो पाया जाता है, विच इज एक्चुअली सैंग्विवोरस और एनिमल जो कि फूड पे सर्वाइव करता है और इट नीड्स फूड फॉर द ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट. सो लीच एग्जांपल. someone just mentioned mosquito. So in case of mosquito, yeah, it is a kind of parasite we can say, because वो हम लोग से अपना हम लोग का blood, like it suck up the blood, but then it is not really a true parasite we can say. Yeah, it is kind of parasite, I'm not denying the fact, but if you see the examples like malaria or a dengue kind of thing जो जहाँ पे mosquito actually involved होता है, but it is not really a true parasite, but it is actually acting as a vector. Okay, we will see what is vector and what is a true parasite and what is a pseudoparasite and all those things I will explain. Okay, yeah, so Akansha is saying flatworms, sort of fungus, Ashutosh is saying tapeworm. Yeah, all these animals are basically parasites. Yeah, so I don't know what is he saying, sort of dad खाज खुजली के bacteria. Basically this खाज खुजली के is not bacteria, it is fungus. And जो तुम ringworm की I think तुम बात कर रहे हो जो advertisers and all लिखते हैं, so it is not really a bacteria, it is a fungus. But yeah, whatever, I think तुम लोग को idea मिल गया है कि what I am trying to convey. Okay, so when I say parasitism, basically there are some organisms which are completely dependent. तो तुम लोगों ने example दिए मुझे, tapeworm, flatworm. So if I'm not wrong, it is like Annelida, Platyhelminthes, Nemathelminthes, all those lower phyla basically. These animals are actually dependent on some or other different animals for their food or for their survival and for different benefits. So basically, यहाँ पे होता क्या है? These parasites are at uh, these parasites are actually at the benefits, but जिसके ऊपर जो जाके बैठते हैं, those are at loss. Okay, so that's why it's a positive negative kind of interaction. एक को फायदा, एक को नुकसान. Okay, so there are different types of parasites, like starting from the plants. अगर मैं देखूँ, like considering plant as a host or animal as a host, even I can say even a bacteria can be host for some kind of parasites. So there are different kind of parasites. Even the viruses, different viruses, we call viruses as a obligate parasite. What is obligate parasites? Because viruses require host. Now what is host? What do I mean by host? क्या होता है host? Host is an organism or an animal जिसके ऊपर ये parasite dependent होते हैं. Okay? Generally we say host parasite interactions. Okay? Host मतलब जिसको नुकसान हो रहा है वो, parasite मतलब जिसको फायदा हो रहा है वो. Okay? So there are different types of hosts starting from the animal plants to the higher animals. Okay, it was also observed that most of the parasites are actually very specific to their host. Okay, what do I mean by host specific or specific to host? They can take the benefits, whatever they want, the blood, they can take up the blood, but only from a particular type of species. It's not like that jo mila wo mera. No, they will only dependent on a particular type of species in a such a way that uh, like they will even like in such a way that they will get their benefits. So if you can say, so now in nature it happens, okay, तो कोई एक parasite है वो continuously किसी host पे dependent है, and because of which the host is showing some kind of negative effect, because उसको शायद let's say उसको health problem हो रहा है, the host is not able to tolerate and all, so the host will start developing some kind of resistance. Okay, so it will develop some kind of modification which can be even physiological modification or let's say behavioral modification. But जैसे कि host खुद के लिए कुछ safety measures ले रहा है, at the same time even the parasite will develop some kind of we can say evolution. It will show some kind of adaptation, or it can show some kind of evolution which will help it to be in a relationship with the particular host. Okay, so the parasites can be of two main types. Okay, so I can classify parasite as a endoparasite or a ectoparasite. So I think the name itself, endo and the ecto. Endo मतलब जो सेल के अंदर जाके रह सकते हैं वैसे टाइप के पैरासाइट, और एक्टो मतलब जो बॉडी को बाहर से ही अटैच होके दे कैन टेक अप द फूड एंड न्यूट्रिशन, राइट. So if I want to explain you the endoparasite, so the best example is the Plasmodium vivax or a Plasmodium malariae, falciparum, ovale, and there are multiple different species of this Plasmodium. और Plasmodium क्या करता है? What disease it causes?
Malaria.
Yeah, so it is a malarial parasite. It causes malaria. Okay, so this is the real parasite which is actually causing the malaria. But ये parasite को उसके like नीच से उठा के अपने बॉडी तक लेके कौन आता है? Mosquitoes, right? So we know there are different malarial mosquitoes जो कि ये पैरासाइट को अपने बॉडी में like it can tip it in your guts, and जब भी वो अपने को काटेगा for taking the blood, at that time it actually introduces the parasite in our body and then it can cause the disease. Okay, so this is the best example of the endoparasite. So when we say endoparasite and ectoparasite, so just tell me, अगर वो directly मेरे body में जा रहा है, definitely it is now completely dependent on my body, because मेरे बॉडी में सब कुछ है, खाना है, प्रॉपर फ्लूइड है, प्रॉपर न्यूट्रिएंट्स है, मिनरल्स है, which can be beneficial for this particular parasite, right? So this particular parasite have shown some kind of modification some kind of modification, like they don't require any kind of sense organ basically, because जरूरत ही नहीं है, वो directly किसी भी vector के through enter कर सकते हैं in a host, or they won't need any adhesive structure, so they don't need any sucker or hooker like structure कि वो अपने आप को host को attach कर सकते हैं, वैसे जरूरत नहीं पड़ती उनको. This kind of structure you can see in case of leech or for lice, जहाँ पे they actually need to attach to the host body to obtain their food and nutrition. But then this endoparasite जो सेल के अंदर रहते हैं, they don't need to any such kind of structure, right? Even they have a partial digestive system or even no typical digestive system, because जो भी खाना उनको मिलता है inside the cells वो मस्ट प्रॉपरली डाइजेस्ट होके ही जाता है. तो हम लोग जो भी खाते हैं which actually get absorbed in our body in a form of glucose or any other form, this can be taken up directly by this particular organism. तो उनको अपना खुद का ऐसा कुछ different digestive system लेने की जरूरत पड़ती नहीं है. Okay, and but they can have very good reproduction capacity. बाकी कुछ तो करने की जरूरत नहीं है ना. They don't need any adhesive organs, they don't need any sense organs, they don't need any digestive system, but they have very good reproduction system, so they can just take up the food and they can keep on reproducing. So that's how they increase their number inside the host. और एक बार number बढ़ गया, then they can harm the host. Okay, so now let's take the example of this particular one of the endoparasite, that is the malarial parasite, which includes the parasite Plasmodium vivax. So Plasmodium क्या है, ये कौन सा टाइप में जाएगा, which group of an organism it is? वो एनिमल है, वो फंगस है, वो बैक्टीरिया है, वो प्रोटोजोआ है, क्या है वो?
Protozoan.
Yeah, so Plasmodium is a protozoan. Okay, so it is actually a eukaryotic organism which is actually causing the malaria. And which kind of mosquito actually causes the malaria? Not all, like there is one specific species of mosquito. What is that?
Female Anopheles mosquito.
Yes, so that is exactly an absolutely correct answer. It is a female Anopheles. So you can see the specificity of the parasite. Okay, it is not like कि वो कोई भी mosquito के through enter होगा. No, it can enter only by the female Anopheles, because female Anopheles के अंदर it is having a particular internal environment जो इसको फेवर करता है, जो कि उसको रहने के लिए मदद करता है, which may not be present in a other organism or other mosquitoes. If you remember the filariasis, I don't know how many of you remember or is it there in your book or not, but even in case of filariasis, even that is a kind of protozoan, like that because of which the disease elephantitis जैसे होता है, हत्ती रोग जैसे कुछ तो हो जाता है. Even in that case, mosquito is a vector. Anyone, which kind of mosquito is that? कौन सा species है वो? Filariasis जो mosquito cause करता है, what is the type of that mosquito basically?
Aedes mosquito.
It is Aedes or it is Culex?
Maybe. Culex.
Yeah, it is Culex. Aedes, I think it is for dengue. So I'm not very sure, but Culex I'm sure it is for filariasis. Okay. So yeah, so one thing, please keep all these things in the mind, okay, especially for NEET students. I don't know how many of you are making your notes or you are completely dependent on the classes notes. I have no idea. हम लोग का इतना interaction हुआ नहीं है. But this is my really fair suggestions to all of you. Those are applying for NEET. Please make your own notes. Don't be too reliable on a classes notes or any other external reference material. Okay? Because your own notes will help you at the last time revision. You cannot take the classes notes as a 2 days prior your exam and read the entire 1000-page thing, right? You have to have something which belongs to you, which has been made by you. So it will be easy for you all to understand. So don't just be dependent on the like external thing. Don't be a parasite. Make your own food. Okay. So that is about the parasite. Okay. About the Plasmodium. So क्या होता है यहाँ पे? Wherever this particular mosquito sit and all, they can take up this particular Plasmodium species from that particular area. और let's say कोई infected, किसी को already malaria हो चुका है और वो बंदे के ऊपर जाके कोई mosquito ने blood ले लिया, तो via that blood the parasite can enter into the mosquito body. तो mosquito का ऐसा कुछ फर्क पड़ता नहीं है, because that is just a kind of it is not really affecting the mosquito in any way. Okay, but जब ये mosquito जाएगा to the healthy person उसको काटेगा, at that time it will actually release this particular parasite in the healthy person's body, and then that they will start developing the disease. So I will not go in detail कि वो कैसे disease develop करता है, but I think you all must have studied the cycle. So it first go to the liver, it affects the liver, then goes to the RBC, then affect the RBCs. There is a hemolysis. There are different forms of the mosquitoes, like different forms of the plasmodium ka living forms, and then it will actually develop the particular malaria. Okay, so I hope you know all these things. You must have studied in your disease wala chapter. So I will not go into about the cycle, but what I am trying to convey at this point is, in this case, plasmodium is a parasite, mosquito is a vector because वो सिर्फ एक जगह से दूसरी जगह में लेके आ रहा है, and then humans are actually the ultimate host for this particular parasite. Okay, and एक बार जो वो parasite host के अंदर चले गए, it can affect their survival, it can affect their growth, it can affect their reproduction, and it can show any like kind of thing which can even lead to the death. Okay, now we are having very good kind of treatments and all. Still malaria के लिए अपने पास इतना strong treatment नहीं है. Yeah, we do have treatment, but then it is not like as a permanent treatment for us. Whatever we are doing, we are trying different drugs and all, we are using those, that's true, but we don't have a permanent specific treatment for malaria as such. And India is one of the country which can be considered as one of the most affected malaria affected country. Okay, so this is one of the major problems. So they can actually enter the, as I mentioned, they can make the host very weak, and the host will not be able to do the proper functioning जो उसको करना चाहिए. So one question I can say in a chat box by Saurabh again, फिर मच्छर मारने से क्या प्रॉफिट होता है? So वो तू मारेगा तेरे को समझेगा. Basically there is no relation with the parasite transfer यहाँ पे. It's like the mosquito itself is kind of sanguivorous, like वो अपना blood लेता है. That's why we are just मारने का is like what like we don't want that to happen. And why generally now this particular, you can see that smoke wala person comes by KDMC and all nowadays, and they keep on spreading this smoke and all. जिसमें बहुत सारे drugs kind of things रहते हैं, or फिर we can say kind of chemicals that actually kills the mosquito. So that because mosquito is one of the reason for multiple different diseases. Okay, malaria is just one example. You can go for filariasis, it can cause dengue, it can cause many other diseases. Okay, and to avoid these things, generally मच्छर को मारते हैं. So it's that thing. Okay, so that nothing.
सर वो हर बार उसका वेक्टर फिक्स है क्या?
Yeah, for a particular disease, vector is fixed. तो अगर मैं मलेरिया की बात कर रहा हूँ तो vector has to be Anopheles only. Okay, अगर मैं filariasis की बात कर रहा हूँ तो vector has to be Culex only. This is fixed. Even there are some diseases or some cases जहाँ पे कोई और animal भी हो सकता है. So there are some bugs and all also, like smaller insects जो भी as a parasite, as a vector काम करते हैं. So now this is all about the endoparasites, right? There are something called as ectoparasites as well. So as I mentioned, कि जो बाहर से affect करते हैं the host organism. Okay, so they will actually either attach to the surface or they will have some sucking kind of structure which will affect. Okay, so the very common examples are like lice on a humans and ticks on a dog. So you must have seen the ticks on a dog. Basically, they take up the blood. Even the lice, mostly very common in the people, like अगर किसी को प्रॉब्लम होगा तो उनके बालों में रहते हैं mostly. So these are all ectoparasites. Another example is leech, basically, which is also ectoparasite. Okay, so yeah, and even some another example is like these fishes, like the marine fishes, which are generally having this particular kind of ectoparasite called as copepods. So this is a type of smaller organism जो ये fishes के अंदर है कि उनसे सब food nutrition ले लेते हैं. So all this information is about the animals. Okay, तो मैंने अभी तक explain किया about the ectoparasite and the endoparasite. in a terms of the animals. Okay, but the term parasitism is not just we can say limited to the animals, but even the plants can show some kind of parasitic nature. So one such example is a Cuscuta. Cuscuta is actually a parasitic plant that is commonly found in a growing on a hedge plant. So these are the hedge plants are basically a plants. तुम लोगों ने देखा रहेगा most of the gardens के compound में they form a kind of compound with using some special plants. Okay, this Cuscuta actually grows on such plants, and because this Cuscuta is having like it is a parasite, it does not have any kind of chlorophyll which is required for the photosynthesis. Okay, so because वो अपना फूड किसी और से ले रहा है तो क्लोरोफिल हो या ना हो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So there is no chlorophyll, there are no leaves in this particular. So you can see it just like it is generally yellow color का plant which you can see like a thread like structure. बहुत सारे plants के ऊपर you can see very common. Okay, it is called as Cuscuta. It is a parasite. Okay, and it actually derives its food and nutrition from the host plant जिसके ऊपर ये तो ये basically पूरे plant का ऐसे ना like thread जैसे वो पूरा attach रहता है and it can take up the food from them. Okay, so now this is all about the ectoparasite, endoparasite. But the parasite term is just not limited कि किसी का खाना छीन लेना या फिर किसी के ऊपर बैठ के खुद का फायदा करके खाना खा लेना. But there are so many types of parasitism we can see. इसका मतलब है कि just without किसी का consent उसका फायदा लेना और उससे benefits obtain करना. So one such kind of parasitism is called as brood parasitism. Okay, it is mainly observed in a birds. And it is one of the very interesting kind of parasitism you can see. जहाँ पे एक कोई तो बर्ड क्या करेगा अपने एग्स को ले करेगा इन समवन एल्सेस नेस्ट. ओके, और जिसके नेस्ट में उन्होंने अपने अंडे डाल दिए हैं that particular bird will take care of the eggs and it will actually incubate the eggs and all. Okay, तो जो पहला बर्ड था जिसने उसको लेके आए जिसने एक्चुअली अंडे दिए हैं उसका ऐसा कुछ रूल होता है. उसका काम है सिर्फ जाके अंडे दो और भाग जाओ. एंड जिसके नेस्ट में दिया है that will take care of every other thing now. So very common example, ये सब लोगों को ये स्टोरी पता रहेगा कोयल एंड कौवा basically. So what does कोयल do? So they actually put their eggs in a कौवे के cows like crow's nest. तो वो कौवे के नेस्ट में जाके अंडे दे देंगे एंड नाउ एक बार अंडे देने के बाद that quail will never come back. It's like the crow will now take care of the entire process आगे का. उसको incubate करना, उसको hit देना, उसको उसका पूरा incubation period तक उसका care करना and finally जब वो पैदा हो जाएंगे और बच्चे the eggs will get hatched, then उसको even for starting some period it also gives us some kind of parental care, you know, because if you remember the kingdom Animalia, you must have read this one line. The birds are very good giving giving the parental care. There are many other species, let's say snakes. एक बार अंडे hatch हो गए, अब बच्चे निकल जाते हैं and there is no like as such parental care. But birds actually shows very good parental care. Even human beings I think are the best example of the parental care because हम लोग तो I think कितने बड़े हो जाए, we are still dependent on our parents, right? So these are some example I'm just giving you. So now why these crows are not able to identify कि वो अंडे किसके हैं, right? So basically this quail and this crow have shown some kind of adaptation that the quail will have take all the possible care. So nature has given that benefit to the quail that it will lay the eggs which are actually the same size and same color as that of the crow, right? So क्या होगा जब वो अंडे क्रो देखेगा the crow will not be able to differentiate कि वो अंडे उसके हैं या किसी और के हैं, and that's where the quail is taking the benefit of. Okay, तो कोयल का फायदा ही फायदा है, बच्चों की कुछ केयर करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है, and then the crow is at a loss. Okay, so this is called as a brood